6 months might sound too short to learn a whole language, especially one as chaotic and nuanced as English. I used to think the same. But life has a funny way of turning your doubts into decisions, and decisions into transformation. My journey to learning English wasn't born from love for the language or a classroom curriculum. It began with a dream, simple yet powerful. I wanted to work at a company in the United States. And for that, English wasn't just an option, it was the key. Let me take you back to the day it all started. It was a humid afternoon in July. I had just finished an interview with a recruiter from a U.S.-based tech firm I had admired for years. I knew the coding part went well. I had been preparing for that for months. But the moment we started talking, and I couldn't even explain my own thoughts clearly. The recruiter was kind, but the call ended with a polite, "We'll get back to you." They didn't. That night, I replayed the conversation over and over in my mind. The embarrassment burned deep. I knew then that talent alone wouldn't get me there. The real wall between me and my dream job wasn't skills, it was communication. And so, I made a promise to myself. In 6 months, I would learn English. Not just to pass interviews, but to thrive in a world where English was the default language of opportunity. I didn't start with grammar books or vocabulary lists. I started with YouTube. Every morning before breakfast, I would watch a video by someone fluent in English, tech vloggers, motivational speakers, travel bloggers. I wasn't even trying to understand everything at first. I just wanted the sound of English to become familiar. I kept subtitles on in the beginning, but soon I realized my brain was catching phrases on its own. Instead of watching movies with dubbed voices, I switched to original English versions. I played the same songs on loop, watched the English stories. I began singing along, even if I didn't fully understand the lines. I was trying to tune my ears to the rhythm and melody of the language. This first month was not about learning, it was about absorbing. I surrounded myself with English like a child would. I let it sink into my brain without judgment. In the second month, this was the month I started talking to myself. And I mean literally. I spoke to my mirror every morning. "Good morning. Today's going to be a productive day." I narrated my actions. "Now I'm making tea. Now I'm checking my emails." It felt silly at first, but slowly, something changed. Words came more easily. Sentences flowed without conscious effort. But I knew talking to myself wasn't enough. I needed to interact. So I joined English-speaking clubs on apps. The first time I spoke, my hands were sweating. My accent was thick, and I knew I sounded awkward. But to my surprise, people didn't judge. They encouraged me. I also found a language partner from Canada who was learning my native language. We spoke for an hour every day. 30 minutes in English, 30 minutes in my language. It was one of the best parts of my day. Not only was I learning, but I was also building confidence through connection. By now, I was comfortable listening and speaking, but my vocabulary was still limited. So I started reading, not textbooks, but things I actually enjoyed. I picked up simple novels, like The Alchemist and The Fault in Our Stars. I didn't worry about words I didn't know. I would underline them, guess their meaning from context, and only look them up if I couldn't figure it out. I also read blogs, news articles, Reddit threads, anything that had real-world natural English. I even changed my phone's language settings to English. Every time I sent an email, Every time I opened an app, I was reinforcing the language, and it paid off. One day, I found myself explaining a technical concept to someone in English without rehearsing. That moment gave me goosebumps. I was starting to think in English. By the fourth month, I wanted to sharpen my writing skills. I started small, daily journals in English. I wrote about my day, my goals, my feelings. Then I moved on to writing emails, blog posts, and even responses on forums like Stack Overflow, all in English. The biggest leap came when I started writing mock emails for job applications and cover letters. I asked a few native English speakers I'd met online to review them. Their feedback was golden, not just corrections, but suggestions on how to sound more natural. This process taught me the difference between correct English and real English. Phrases like, "Hope this finds you well," or "Looking forward to hearing from you," weren't in my textbooks, but they were in every professional email. In the fifth month, practice like it's real. By this point, I had all the basics in place, but I wanted to prepare for real scenarios like interviews and meetings. So I started doing mock interviews with friends, with strangers from LinkedIn, with anyone willing to help. I recorded myself, listened to the playback, and made notes. I also joined online workshops where English was the medium of instruction. I started contributing in Q&A sessions, slowly but steadily. I practiced storytelling, technical explanations, and casual conversation. I even watched interviews of professionals on YouTube and mimicked their responses to common questions. Each day I tried to speak better, write clearer, and think faster in English. 6 months after that embarrassing interview, I applied again, this time to 3 different companies in the U.S. I didn't just send a resume, I sent a video introduction. In fluent, confident English, I talked about my journey, my passion, and how I could contribute to their team. I got 3 callbacks, and one of them turned into a job offer. The recruiter said, "Your communication really stood out. It's rare to see that level of clarity from someone who isn't a native speaker." That one sentence brought tears to my eyes, not because I was proud, but because I knew how far I had come. People often ask me, "How did you learn English so fast?" And my answer is always the same. I didn't learn it like a subject, I lived it like a habit. It wasn't just about grammar rules or perfect pronunciation. It was about consistency, about showing up every day even when I felt stuck, about embarrassing myself 100 times and still coming back for more. I didn't have expensive courses or a private tutor. I had free videos, an internet connection, and a reason that mattered. That's the real secret. Find your why. Something so strong it makes giving up not an option. For me, it was the dream of working in a U.S. company. For you, it might be something else, but once you have that reason, English is no longer a language. It becomes your bridge to a better life. If you're reading this and you're struggling with English, know this: you're not alone, and you're not behind. You're just one decision away from changing everything. Start today. Speak out loud. Watch content. Join a community. Write your thoughts. Make mistakes. Laugh at them. And keep going. 6 months from now, you won't recognize yourself. I didn't just learn English. I learned resilience. I learned how to turn a weakness into strength. And now I speak not just with fluency, but with purpose. Your dream deserves that same commitment, so go ahead. Start talking to your mirror. Who knows? That small step could be the start of your own 6-month transformation.